I see many survivors who, for a range of reasons, can't report or are fearful of reporting, and at the time make the decision not to report. And I've walked this journey, so I know it. And I hear some people say, and it's misguided, well, you can get over it without reporting. You don't need to do that, just get over it. And you know, justice denied to someone will be carried in their heart for a long time. If they've chosen not to report because they have an awareness that there's stigma waiting, that there's disbelief waiting, that there's ridicule waiting, and possibly a traumatic process waiting, then no one has made a choice, a proper choice to not report. They've been forced into it.
For so many women, they stand to lose so much by reporting it. You know, they're going to lose their input into the family farm. They're going to lose their standing in the community. They're going to lose face with their girlfriends, their in-laws, their children, their school, you know. And for quite a lot of them, I think they make that calculated decision, I'm just going to put up with it. I'll get myself pissed and I'll put up with it rather than doing all that. Or I'll leave him when the kids get through school.
It is a lot of issues for women to overcome if they wish to, you know, have these matters reported and investigated, and the fact that it's their partner, the person that they live with, that these types of offences happen in their own home. In the beginning, they may not be able to name what's occurred to them, particularly when there's children involved, to name their partner as a rapist, that the father of their children could be acknowledged as a rapist.
And I would suggest if once it's reported, that relationship would be effectively be over. That's one of the big things why a lot of sex reports don't get reported, is the fear of not being believed.
For example, when we're doing a forensic, we're looking for DNA, and or in the setting of a forensic assault, sometimes it can be that there's consensual sex or wanted sex, say, within the last week with the person who did the assault.
There's probably not a lot of physical evidence available. It comes down to issue of consent. Forensic
evidence might be present. It'll come down to a question of consent. Now, and that's when one will say, yeah, may have had sex, but it was consensual. So your forensic evidence is not very... They're not going to dispute the sexual act. What they're going to dispute is the consent.
If a woman says that she's assaulted by an intimate partner, we can't just rely on the DNA. So there'd be other things in my report, like if she has got any signs of, you know, restraint, bruising or anything like that.
So the second time I went to the police, I turned up with bruises and I said to them, look, you can see, I want you to take photos. You can see this. I said, I want you to charge him with assault. And they did. So I didn't charge him with rape because that is extremely difficult to prove. But I did get him charged with assault, and I did get an intervention order.
They don't want to press charges. They're not wanting to press charges because of what goes on when you go to court. It's bad enough taking them to court to get an IVO or supporting them through housing or through child protection. That's a longer process. It's a really scary process, so they'd rather not do it. And at the end of the day, it's their decision whether they want to do it or not. I can only be there to support them.
And I'm not going to lie about it and say that it's going to be an easy time. It's not. Definitely not.
And what I found, particularly in partner rape cases, is that everything that is relevant is pushed to the periphery, and everything that's irrelevant about character and about denigrating a person on their essence as a human being becomes very central.
Once they enter the witness box, that's where it all happens. A defence barrister, his job, and I mean he's paid to do a job, is to get his client off. So he'll be ruthless. He'll attack your credibility. If he finds a chink there, well, don't worry about the facts. It'll all be about your credibility. So all he has to show is just that doubt. If there's any doubt, the jury will be instructed to come back with a finding of not guilty.
Because if someone is asking you something and you can't respond properly and defend yourself or give the context or give the full answer, whatever, it is very liable to get you upset. What happens when you're upset? You're not concentrating properly, you're not fully listening, you're getting embarrassed and you're getting flustered. And what I see is defence lawyers turn to a jury and say, look at her. Do you know why she's angry and flustered? Because she's a liar.
That kind of systemic bias has evolved with the common law over centuries, long before matters of sexual assault were ever litigated.
And partner rape presents a problem because of the entrenched bias about women as a second-class citizen who doesn't have equal worth with a male, and particularly not with her husband. Partner rape is very, very poorly responded to by the criminal justice system in terms of police, and so it means that we not only have an underreporting of partner rape, but we have a very poor prognosis in terms of the legal response to it.
When he pleaded guilty in the courts, there was a lot of attitudes expressed through the media about he's a good bloke, and you know, because he was the governor of the organisation, this didn't deserve to be on the front page of the newspaper.
You know, like my solicitor, when we were going through the divorce separation process, sat there and said, you know, you may look like Miss Goody Two Shoes, but that's not going to get you anywhere.
Women in partner rape suffer the most in a legal system because what is it basically happened? We are affronted that a woman should not just dare accuse a man, but a man in a position of authority who is supposed to be her partner.
Just because you go to church, that you don't really drink alcohol, you don't do drugs, doesn't make you a better parent. And someone who does take drugs from sun up to sundown, who drinks all day, that doesn't make you a better parent. And through court counselling, he came off looking like he was the better parent. So that was very hard.
The shocking thing is victims don't have to prove rape. They actually have to prove that their character is worthy enough to withstand the horrendous, personalised scrutiny and whether they can be seen as a credible, decent human being, and then we'll decide whether rape was proven.
Because I remember having a meeting with a whole set of senior people in government who were involved in policing and in prosecution and justice, and we all said to each other, if you were the victims of sexual assault or if a family member was, would you put them through this system? And most of us said no. And that meant the system has to change.
And the fact that a legal system is aware that they themselves would tell others not to means that they have an awful lot to live up to now in terms of addressing that.